Hi everybody, this is Sarah from Serenity. Today we're going to be looking at the upcoming new moon in Cancer and the eclipse. So on June the 21st, the new moon will be at 0 degrees of Cancer. We also have Mercury retrograde happening right now, currently in Cancer as well. So we're already starting to see a theme emerging. But that being said, this video and my take on astrology may not resonate with you. And that's okay. If it doesn't resonate with you, then please pass it on by, and I do hope you find what you're looking for. Okay, so just to quickly recap, the moon passes through different phases or cycles, and approximately every 28 days we have a new moon. The new moon is also sometimes referred to as the dark of the moon, right? The new moon phase happens when Earth lines up with the sun. There are 12 new moons a year generally, and each one is usually tied to a different astrological sign. So you have the flavor of the new moon itself, then you have the added energy of the sign that it's in. So this new moon is in Cancer, and Cancer is a water sign that is also, guess what? Ruled by the moon for added emphasis. Then on top of that, we have an eclipse, which in itself is a game changer. So you can see that there's going to be a lot of energy at play over the next few days and actually on out. Plus though, we have the planet Saturn, which is also referred to sometimes as the Lord of Karma, creating some chaos as we struggle to balance conflicting energies, such as our need for personal freedom after everything that's been happening this year, and then the other side of that coin, which is personal responsibility. So we're going to have those themes come up too. So how will this new moon eclipse affect life on Earth specifically? A solar eclipse is much less subtle than a lunar eclipse, and we had a lunar eclipse this month, beginning of the month. I didn't do a video and I do apologize, but like I say, my mother passed away last month and I'm still dealing with that. The house where the solar eclipse falls will be the focus for the next 12 months, with the energy peaking at approximately 6 months from now, which will be around December, right? And then as the lessons are hopefully mastered, we start to see the energy slowly recede. If the lesson hasn't been mastered, say at 6 months, then we will probably encounter more lessons on that topic. And you can find out what that will be by looking to see where Cancer is in your chart. So this eclipse, no matter where it is on your chart, will help to ground and refocus you though. Think of it as a personal self-help guide, yeah? So while Cancer is all about emotions and family and nurturing and home life, we can expect to see these themes regardless of where Cancer is on your chart to be highlighted. And talking about things like emotions and nurturing, especially, we can kind of say, well, you know, we don't really need any more of that energy, but I think we probably do. It's not necessarily a bad thing. This is a time of coming together and healing. But for us to do that, we also have to carve out time to work on ourselves. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. This new moon also highlights friendships and social interactions, both personally and globally. And due to the restrictions of the last, 6 months this hasn't been really an easy time to connect with our loved ones, our friends, our families, right? I mean, we can do things online and now some of the restrictions are being lifted, but still, it's been a very trying time for a lot of people. So this cycle, and specifically this weekend, we're going to see people turning inward more and working through this, which is actually what needs to happen. The new moon in Cancer will affect all the zodiac signs across the board. Like I say, specifically, if you know where Cancer is on your chart, then you'll be able to tell what the actual lesson will be. But regardless, Cancer, Capricorn, and Gemini will feel the effects of this energy the most. So over the past few months, honestly, most of 2020, life has been very surreal and even downright weird, let's be honest. So this full moon is going to give us a break from that. It's going to give us time to reflect on what's happened, what we've learned about ourselves, what we've learned about our family, what we've learned about our communities, and generally society. So during this time, we will be given the insight that maybe we've been looking for on how we move forward from here. So you might find yourself asking deep questions like, where do you fit into your family? How is your place in the world changing? And how do we move forward globally from here? How do we right some of these wrongs that are coming up? How do we make the world a better place without being swallowed whole by all of this energy? And for a lot of people in the spiritual community, we knew this was coming, but still it can seem like an avalanche falling on you because the energy is so disruptive and so chaotic. So if you're feeling that, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to turn inwards and work on personal healing, okay? If you've already been doing that, if you've already been addressing your own personal issues, and you feel like you're in a good spot, then this may be the time to shift and really look at what you can do to help the global community. Cancer is a sign of nurturing, protecting, sustaining, and taking care of other people. It's also strongly tied to the past and to karma. Think about how you're working to create positive change, not just globally, but also in your life. What can you do to ease some of the stress in your life? What can you do to maybe help your partner or help your friends or help your family, to support them or overwhelm you any more than you already are? Cancer is about nurturing and about giving, but that can get out of balance really easy when it's not reciprocated. And so that's, of course, why we have to set boundaries. So this is a good time too to look at those boundaries and really assess what's happening in these relationships. Probably during the course of the last 6 months, what you valued and what you tend to lean on, or what you draw strength from, or maybe even your personal identity from, has changed. And likewise, that's probably not such a bad thing. As we no longer identify maybe with the clothes we wear or the car we drive or maybe even the job we have, we are turning inward to expand ourselves personally. We're looking at other ways to feel fulfilled and other ways to reach levels of success too. So this weekend, try to carve out some time to reflect all of the things that have happened, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, and even the surreal, and perhaps journal out some of your personal challenges, as well as your feelings now compared to maybe in January when we were very optimistic looking at this new year, and how things have shifted for you. And once you take this time, whether it's an hour or whether it's half a day, I mean, it doesn't have to be a huge commitment, but once you take this time and really journal some of these things out, get these feelings out on paper, you should be much clearer for the major reset that's about to happen. And yes, I just said reset. We are currently in the middle of a pivotal energetic shift. And with Saturn shifting our levels of personal responsibility, we really have to stay alert, ready, and focused, because you could be called in to work to handle more responsibility, or you may end up nursing or nurturing someone who is ill, whether it's a family member or a friend. And it may not be how you plan to spend your summer, but we know that you're up to the task. Only if you are in turn nurturing yourself and you're able to shift and pivot with this changing energy. Will this be the summer that you hope for? Probably not. If you were hoping for it in November, let's say, of last year, this is not going to look like the summer that you had planned. But once again, that's not necessarily bad. We can work through this energy, and as we reset, things that weren't important are going to fall by the wayside. So you have to be open to letting them go. And it's sometimes that can be difficult and sometimes not. But as we let them go, we make space for these new experiences, these new people, these new situations to come into our lives. And things do get better. So the new moon will shine a spotlight on areas in your life where you're not feeling safe or secure, where you're not maybe happy with how things are going, but for whatever reason you haven't addressed it. You've kind of, shoved it under the rug and tried to forget it. So this could be money, that could be career, home life, relationship, or your spirituality. So you already have a good idea on what these issues are. But after this very powerful weekend, you'll actually be in a better place to take the steps and follow through to change these situations. The Cancer new moon will give you the extra push you need to make positive changes. And this is also a time when you want to be surrounded by people that understand you, people that nurture you, and people that bring out the best in you. You're no longer suffering fools. You're no longer putting up with people that are negative and putting you down and spewing rhetoric. You're done with that. And this will definitely, if you haven't seen this shift already, you'll definitely see it this weekend. You're focusing on higher vibration, and the lower hate-filled energy, there's just no place for it in your life. And this is a pivotal internal change that you knew was coming, but maybe this is someone you work with, or maybe this is your neighbor, or even someone in your family that you've tried to set boundaries with in the past, but it isn't working. Well, things will shift this weekend. So it's also likely that you may reach out online and plan meetups for later in the summer with people, and that's great. It's good to connect with these people and make plans for the future, because life won't always look like it looks now. Health-wise, watch out for small mishaps like dropping your phone or temporarily misplacing your keys, which will lead to more stress. And that's one of the big keys with this sign too. Cancer by default is so nurturing and caring for other people that they have a tendency to drop the ball on their own needs, and they end up very often at the end of the day very exhausted and stressed and have very little reserve. So that's going to be your big lesson. You need to slow down and relax and try and find ways to manage your stress. You can't pour from an empty cup, so really work on that theme of internal nurturing. Schedule time to relax and de-stress if at all possible. Also, this is a great time to invest a little in your own personal growth. Read something that will open your mind, create something, take a class, learn a new hobby, do something that is fulfilling and nurturing for you. Something that is fun for you, because you know what? You're worth it. So use this energy to make needed personal changes and commit to both nurturing and healing those around you as well as yourself. This is a time when we are, like I say, doing a pivotal reset on how we want to move forward for the next year. So do you want to be tired and exhausted? Do you want to be angry at the world? Or do you want to work on healing some of these issues so that you can show up to be that positive change in the world? So that's kind of what we're looking at here. Will this be an easy weekend? For some people, yes. For others, it's going to be a little bit more trying, but it's nothing we can't handle. You can do this, and if you really look at this, this is like the change that we've been asking for. This is one of those steps. So we just have to get on with it and do it, okay? So I hope you found this little mini reading helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you soon. Reiki blessings. Bye-bye.